The envelope sat on the kitchen counter for 3 days. Bank statement. You know the one. The kind that shows you finally hit a number you've been chasing for years. $50,000. Net worth. Positive. After student loans, after credit card debt, after that car you're still paying off. 50 grand. My buddy James hit that number last spring. Called me up, excited. Said he was finally making it. 2 weeks later, he bought a used Ford F-150 for $8,000. Cash. Because he deserved it, and the old car was embarrassing. 6 months after that, the transmission went out. $4,000 to fix. He didn't have it. Went right back on the credit card. And just like that, $50,000 became $38,000. All because he thought hitting a number meant something changed. It didn't. He did. For the worse. You don't know me. And that's fine. My name doesn't matter. What matters is I've spent 30 years working. Most of that time juggling 2 jobs just to keep my head above water. I learned something on Main Street that Wall Street will never teach you in their fancy seminars. Money sitting in your account isn't freedom. It's just a test. A test to see if you learned anything on your way up from zero. Most people fail that test the second they see a comma in their balance. They think they graduated. They think they can finally relax. They're wrong. Dead wrong. Because the same habits that kept you poor at zero will keep you poor at 50,000. The only difference is now you've got further to fall. Here's what I need you to do right now. Stop whatever excuse is forming in your head and go to the comments. Write down the first thing you'd buy if you woke up tomorrow with $50,000 in your account. Don't lie. Don't write what sounds responsible. Write what you'd actually do. Your answer will tell you everything you need to know about whether you're ready for that money or if that money is just going to burn a hole right through your life. Let me tell you about the lie we all believe. The I deserve it lie. You work hard. I know you do. I see you. 2 jobs, maybe 3 side gigs, skipping lunch to save $7. You grind, you sacrifice, and then one day you look at your account and see a number that feels like victory. And that's when the devil on your shoulder whispers, you've earned this, you deserve to treat yourself. You deserve that vacation, that new phone, that apartment upgrade. You've been good long enough. And that voice sounds so reasonable, so fair, so human. But that voice is the same one that's kept millions of hard-working Americans trapped in a cycle of almost making it, but never quite getting there. Here's the truth. That voice won't tell you. Deserve has nothing to do with it. Nothing. What you deserve is peace of mind. What you deserve is to sleep at night without wondering if your car breaking down will destroy you. What you deserve is to not have a panic attack when your kid needs braces. That's what you deserve. Not a new couch. Not a weekend in Vegas. Not a truck that makes your neighbor jealous. Those things don't give you peace. They give you 1 week of happiness, followed by 12 months of payments and regret. I watched my neighbor buy a brand new riding lawnmower last summer. $6,500 financed. He's got a 1/4-acre lot. A push mower would have done the job in 20 minutes. But he'd just gotten a bonus at work. Biggest check he'd ever seen. And he thought that check meant he'd arrived. Now he's eating ramen 3 nights a week because that monthly payment is eating his grocery budget. For what? So he can mow his tiny yard sitting down? That's not wealth. That's stupidity wearing a price tag. And this country is full of it. Credit card debt in America is over $1 trillion. $1 trillion. You know why? Because we've been sold a story. The story goes like this. Work hard. Make money. Spend that money on things that prove you made it. New car in the driveway. Bigger house in a better neighborhood. Clothes with the right labels. Phones that cost more than a month of groceries. We've been taught that spending is success. That consumption equals achievement. It's a lie, it's a trap. And hitting $50,000 doesn't free you from that trap. It just gives you more rope to hang yourself with. Here's what nobody tells you when you're climbing toward that first big financial milestone. The pressure doesn't decrease when you get there. It increases. Suddenly family members who never called start reaching out. Suddenly friends suggest expensive restaurants since you're doing well now. Suddenly every salesman can smell that you've got a little cushion and they come circling like sharks. Your own mind betrays you too. You start thinking in terms of what you can afford instead of what you actually need. You see something for $200 and think, that's nothing, I've got 50,000. Except you make that calculation 15 times and suddenly you're back to 35,000, wondering what happened. What happened is you forgot the lesson. The lesson that got you to 50,000 in the first place. Control, discipline, saying no when everything in this consumer-drunk country is screaming yes. In the next parts, I'm not going to teach you how to get rich. I'm not going to promise you millions or early retirement or financial independence by 40. I'm going to teach you something more valuable and more rare: how to not be poor, how to stay not poor, how to protect what you've built from the biggest threat it faces. And that threat isn't the economy. It isn't inflation. It isn't your boss or your industry or bad luck. The biggest threat to your financial security is sitting in your mirror. It's you, your habits, your justifications, your inability to understand that $50,000 doesn't mean anything changed. You're the same person who was broke 2 years ago, and if you don't change how you think, you'll be the same person who's broke 2 years from now. The only difference is you'll have wasted time and opportunity, and you can't get those back, not for any price. You want to know where $50,000 goes? Let me show you. It doesn't disappear in one big stupid decision. That's not how most people lose it. It leaks. Slow, steady, almost invisible, until one day you look at your account and wonder where the hell it all went. First leak, the upgrade. You've been living in a decent apartment, $700 a month. Nothing fancy, but it works. Then you hit 50,000 and suddenly that apartment feels beneath you. You deserve better, right? So you move. New place, nicer neighborhood, $900 a month, just $200 more. That's nothing. Except it's not nothing. It's $2,400 a year, every single year gone. Not invested, not saved, just gone into a landlord's pocket because you wanted granite countertops you barely notice after week 3. Second leak, the celebration trip. You've been grinding for years. You finally have a cushion. Your friend suggests Miami for a long weekend. You hesitate for maybe 10 seconds before you book it. Flights, hotel, meals, drinks, that jet ski rental that sounded fun. 4 days later, you're back home with a sunburn and a credit card bill for $3,000. Was it worth it? Maybe. For 4 days. But that's $3,000 that could have been working for you for the next 30 years. Third leak is my favorite because nobody ever sees it coming. The phone. You've had the same iPhone for 3 years. It works fine, does everything you need. But you're scrolling online and you see the new model. Better camera, faster processor, features you'll never use. And that voice starts again. You can afford it now. You've got $50,000 in the bank. It's just $1,200. That's nothing. So you buy it. And you know what changes in your life? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Except now you're $1,200 poorer, and in 8 months there'll be another new model, and this whole stupid cycle starts over. I know a guy who owns a diner 2 blocks from where I live. Small place. Been there 40 years. He watches people come in every single day and order $15 worth of food they could have made at home for $3. Watches them pay with credit cards they're carrying a balance on. He told me once, most people in here aren't hungry for food. They're hungry for the feeling that they can afford not to cook. That's an expensive feeling. He's right. That feeling costs you your future. Let me tell you about the moment everything changed for me. I was working 2 jobs. Day shift at a warehouse, night shift doing security. Barely saw my family. 1 month I sat down with every receipt, every bank statement, every credit card bill. I wanted to know where every single dollar was going, and what I found made me sick. Coffee. $4 a day, 5 days a week, that's $1,000 a year. Lunch out, $10 a day, that's $2,600 a year. Streaming services. I forgot I had 6 subscriptions at $12 each. That's another $864 a year. Random Amazon purchases I couldn't even remember making, averaging $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. I added it up. $7,864 a year. On nothing. On absolute nothing. That's $7,864 I worked myself half to death for, just to pour down the drain. And for what? Convenience? Comfort? Entertainment I didn't even enjoy. That was my wake-up call. Not hitting a certain number in my account, but seeing exactly where my money was dying. Here's what I did. I bought a notebook. $3. Best investment I ever made. Every single dollar that left my possession got written down. Every single. 1, coffee, gas, groceries. That candy bar at the checkout, everything. And I'm telling you, when you have to write down $12 for lunch I didn't need, you start making different choices real fast. You start realizing that every dollar has a job, and its job isn't to make you feel good for 30 seconds. Its job is to build the life where you don't have to work 2 jobs just to survive, where you can say no to overtime because you're not terrified of your electric bill, where an unexpected car repair is annoying but not devastating. That's the life money is supposed to buy you. not stuff, not status, not one more thing to dust. The psychology of spending is simple once you understand it. Your brain is wired to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Spending money gives you a little hit of pleasure, that dopamine rush when you click buy now. But that pleasure is temporary. 5 minutes, maybe 5 days if you're lucky. The pain of not having that money when you actually need it, that pain lasts months, years sometimes. But your brain doesn't think that far ahead. It wants what it wants right now. So you have to train it. You have to teach your brain that the real pleasure isn't in spending. It's in keeping. It's in watching that number grow. It's in knowing you could handle an emergency without begging or borrowing or maxing out another card. That's the pleasure that lasts. That's the high worth chasing. People hear this and they say, that's being cheap. That's no way to live. You can't take it with you. And I say, you're right. You can't take it with you. But you know what else you can't do? You can't borrow from your future self when things go bad. You can't call up the you from next year and ask for a loan when your car dies, or your kid breaks an arm, or your company downsizes. That money you're spending today on things that don't matter. That's the money that's supposed to protect you tomorrow from the things that do matter. Being smart with your money isn't being cheap. Being cheap is buying junk that breaks in 6 months. Being smart is keeping your money away from things that don't deserve it. There's a difference. And if you can't see that difference, you're going to struggle your whole life, no matter how much you make. Let me show you what happens when you learn to say no. Real numbers. No fantasy. Take that $7,864 a year you're wasting on nothing. Just stop. Don't spend it. Keep it. That's $7,864 in year 1. Year 2, same thing. Another $7,864. That's $15,728 total. Year 3, same discipline. Now you're at $23,592. 3 years. You didn't get a raise. You didn't win the lottery. You didn't start a side hustle. You just stopped bleeding money on garbage, and now you've got nearly $24,000 you didn't have before. Add that to your $50,000. You're at $74,000. That's the power of no. That's what happens when you stop letting every company in America pick your pocket. But let me show you the other side. The side most people choose. You hit $50,000. You upgrade that apartment. $200 a month more. You take that trip. $3,000 gone. You buy that phone. $1,200 gone. You keep those subscriptions you don't use. You keep buying lunch out. You keep making it rain on Amazon at midnight when you can't sleep. Year 1, $50,000 minus all that waste becomes $42,136. Year 2, you're down to $34,272. Year 3, $26,408. You didn't even notice it happening. But in 3 years you went from $50,000 to $26,000. You lost $24,000. Not to bills, not to emergencies, to choices. Bad ones. And the worst part? You got nothing to show for it. That apartment you upgraded to? You barely notice it anymore. That trip, it's 8 pictures on your phone you never look at. That phone? There's already 2 newer models out. All that money, gone, evaporated. And you're right back where you started. Except now you're 3 years older and 3 years further from any kind of security. Let me tell you about Terry. Guy I know from Montana. Drives a truck cross-country, long haul, gone 2 weeks at a time, hard life, hard work. Terry hit $50,000 in savings about 7 years ago. His truck was old, 18 years old, falling apart. Everyone told him to upgrade, get something reliable, something comfortable for all those hours on the road. You know what Terry did? He kept that old truck, spent $800 fixing what needed fixing, kept driving it. His trailer? Same one he'd been renting for 12 years, $600 a month. Nothing special. Needed paint. Roof leaked a little. He stayed. Didn't upgrade. His phone? A flip phone until 3 years ago. His clothes? Goodwill and Walmart. People laughed at him, called him cheap, said he was wasting his life being miserable to save money. Terry didn't care. He had a number in his head. $200,000, that was his target. House money, pay in cash, no mortgage. 7 years later, Terry walked into a real estate office in Billings with a cashier's check for $175,000. Bought a house outright. 3 bedrooms, 2 acres, his, completely his. No bank, no payments. No fear of missing a month and losing everything. You think he regrets those 7 years? You think he wishes he'd bought a newer truck or a nicer place to rent? Here's what nobody wants to tell you. The people pressuring you to spend are not your friends. They're not looking out for you. Your cousin who shows up at Thanksgiving, asking if you can loan him $2,000 because you're doing good now? He's not family in that moment. He's a leak in your financial boat. Your buddy who wants you to go halves on a fishing boat because we can afford it? He's not thinking about your future. He's thinking about his weekend. That salesman who keeps calling about extended warranties and security systems and investment opportunities. He gets a commission every time you say yes. None of these people will be there when you're broke again. None of them will help you pay your rent when you've got nothing left. But they'll all be right there with their hands out when they think you've got something to give. The hardest word in the English language is no. Harder than love, harder than goodbye. Because no disappoints people. It makes them think less of you. It makes them call you selfish or cheap or boring. But you know what yes costs you? Everything. Every yes to something stupid is a no to something important. Yes to that upgraded cable package is no to your emergency fund. Yes to that weekend trip is no to being debt-free. Yes to that new car smell is no to retiring before you're 70. You can't have both. This country wants you to believe you can have it all. You can't. Nobody can. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start choosing what actually matters. Let me paint you a picture of two futures. Same person. Same $50,000 starting point. Same income. Only difference is choices. Future one. You keep your same life. Same modest apartment. Same old but functional car. Same boring routine. You say no to the trips and the upgrades and the stuff. 5 years pass, you're sitting on $130,000. Your car finally dies. You buy a decent used one for $15,000. Cash, no loan, no payments. You still have $115,000. An emergency happens. Medical bill, $8,000. You pay it. You still have $107,000. You're not rich, but you're untouchable. Nothing life throws at you can break you anymore. You sleep at night. That's future one. Future two. You celebrate hitting 50,000. You upgrade everything. Better apartment, newer car, nice vacation every year. You deserve it, right? 5 years pass. You're sitting on $18,000. Your car breaks down. You can't afford to fix it. You finance a replacement, $400 a month for 6 years. An emergency happens, same medical bill, $8,000. You don't have it. Goes on a credit card at 22% interest. Now you're paying an extra $150 a month just in interest. You can't sleep. Every unexpected expense terrifies you. One bad month and you're finished. That's future two. Same person, same starting point. Different choices, different life. Your net worth is not your scoreboard, it's your responsibility. Every dollar in that account is a soldier in your army, and its only job is to protect you from this world that doesn't care if you make it or not. You want to know what actually changes when you hit 50,000? Nothing changes, except now you have something to protect, and everything in this country is designed to take it from you. The commercials, the credit card offers, the friends with bad ideas, your own brain lying to you about what you need. It's all coming for that money, and the only thing standing between you and being broke again is one word. No. Learn it. Practice it. Tattoo it on your hand if you have to. Because that word is worth more than anything you'll ever buy. You made it this far, that means something. Most people would have quit 3 minutes in because hearing the truth hurts worse than living the lie. But you're still here. So let me bring this home. The lesson isn't about $50,000, it never was. The lesson is about understanding what money actually is. Money isn't freedom. Money isn't happiness. Money isn't success. Money is time. Your time. Every dollar in your account represents hours of your life you traded away. Hours you weren't with your kids. Hours you weren't sleeping. Hours you spent doing something you probably didn't want to do for someone who doesn't care about you. That's what money is. Pieces of your life converted into paper and numbers. And when you waste it on garbage you don't need, you're not just wasting money. You're wasting your life. You're saying those hours you worked meant nothing. That your time has no value. That you'd rather have a newer phone than an extra hour with your family. I've worked 2 jobs most of my adult life. I know what it costs. I know what it feels like to fall asleep at a red light because you worked 16 hours and you've still got to drive home. I know what it's like to miss your kid's school play because you couldn't afford to take the shift off. I know what it's like to eat the same meal 5 days straight because that's what fit the budget. And I'll be damned if I'm going to take that sacrifice and light it on fire, buying things that don't matter. Every dollar I save is an hour of my life I'm taking back. Every dollar I don't waste is one step closer to not having to make that sacrifice anymore. That's what this is about, not being cheap, not suffering. Taking your life back from a system that wants to keep you on the hamster wheel forever. So let's talk about your 2 futures. Because you're standing at a fork in the road right now and you need to pick. Path 1, you keep doing what you've been doing, spending when you feel like it, justifying purchases because you worked hard, believing that money in your account is permission to relax. 5 years from now, you're in the exact same place you are today. Same stress, same fear, same paycheck-to-paycheck existence with a slightly bigger number attached. 10 years from now, you're worse off because you're older, more tired and still broke. 20 years from now, you're looking at retirement age with nothing saved and a body that can't work 2 jobs anymore. That's path 1, and millions of Americans are on it right now wondering why life is so hard. Path 2, you change today, right now, this moment. You decide that every dollar has to justify its existence in your life. You stop the leaks. You cut the waste. You learn to say no to everything that isn't moving you towards security. Year 1 is hard. You'll want to quit. You'll see things you want, and you'll have to walk away. You'll have friends who don't understand, family who thinks you've lost your mind. But you'll end that year with more money than you've ever had. Real money, protected money. Year 2 gets easier. The habits stick. The temptations lose their power. You start seeing opportunities you never noticed before because you're not desperate anymore. Year 3, you realize something incredible. You're not scared. Car makes a weird noise? You'll handle it. Unexpected bill? You'll handle it. Job gets shaky? You'll handle it. Because you've built a foundation that can't be shaken by normal life. 5 years in, you're untouchable. 10 years in, you're thinking about what's next instead of how you'll survive today. 20 years in, you're the person people come to for advice because you figured out what most never will. Here's your 90-day plan. This is not optional if you're serious. Month 1, track everything. Every single dollar that comes in and goes out gets written down. No exceptions, no rounding. You need to see the truth of your financial life in black and white. Use a notebook, use a spreadsheet, use whatever works, but track it all. At the end of 30 days, you're going to feel sick. That's normal. That's the truth showing you what you've been avoiding. Month 2, cut the obvious waste. Those subscriptions you don't use, cancelled. That daily coffee run, over. Make it at home. Those lunch outings, pack your food. That upgraded cable package with channels you never watch, downgraded or gone. This month is about stopping the bleeding, about plugging the leaks you found in month 1. It's going to feel like punishment. It's not. It's medicine. Month 3. Start your protection fund. Take every dollar you saved from cutting waste and put it somewhere separate. Different account. Envelope in a drawer. Wherever you won't touch it. This is not investment money. This is not vacation money. This is life won't destroy me money. Your goal is $1,000 by the end of the month. Can't hit 1,000? Hit 500. Can't hit 500? Hit 200. The amount doesn't matter as much as the habit. You're teaching yourself that you're the kind of person who saves, who protects, who plans. After 90 days, you make a choice. Keep going or quit. If you quit, fine. This isn't for everyone. Some people would rather live for today and deal with tomorrow when it comes. That's their choice. But if you keep going, I promise you something. 1 year from now, you'll look back at today and you'll barely recognize the person you were. You'll wonder how you ever lived that old way. How you ever thought spending money you didn't have on things you didn't need made any kind of sense. 2 years from now, you'll have freedom most people only dream about. Not the freedom to buy whatever you want. Better, the freedom to not need to buy anything. The freedom to walk past a sale without feeling like you're missing out. The freedom to sleep at night knowing that whatever happens tomorrow, you can handle it. Here's the hard part. The world is going to fight you on this. Every commercial, every billboard, every friend with a new toy, every relative who thinks you're being selfish by not lending money. Every part of this consumer-obsessed culture is designed to make you feel like you're losing by not spending, like you're missing out, like you're wasting your life being responsible. They're lying. All of them. You're not missing anything except stress and debt and fear. You're not wasting your life. You're taking it back, dollar by dollar, choice by choice. No by no. Your net worth isn't your value as a person, but it is a measure of how much you respect your own time and effort. It's a measure of whether you're willing to protect what you've built or throw it away for temporary comfort. $50,000, $100,000, $500,000. The number doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with it. Do you use it as permission to spend, or do you use it as a foundation to build? Do you let it leak away on nothing? Or do you guard it like it's pieces of your life? Because that's exactly what it is. If you made it this far, you didn't waste your time. You invested it in yourself, in your future, in the possibility that you can break the cycle that keeps most Americans trapped. Now I need you to do one more thing. Go to the comments right now and write 4 words. I will not waste. That's your contract. Not with me, with yourself, with your future self who's depending on you to make better choices today. Write it, mean it, live it. All right, we're done here. You know what you need to do. Stop buying things to feel better about a life you don't like. Start building a life you don't need to escape from. Now get off this video and go turn off that streaming service you haven't used in 2 months. You're not paying $8 a month to make some company rich while you stay poor.